Well, welcome everyone to the Rochester Elder Care Channel. I'm attorney Michael Robinson, your host for the Rochester Elder Care Channel, and I'm delighted today to have Debbie Bernacki here. Debbie is the principal of Happier at Home. And Debbie, why don't you just introduce yourself and tell our audience a little bit about your company?
Sure. As you said, I'm Debbie Bernacki. I am a registered nurse and a certified geriatric care manager. I started Happier at Home about 8 years ago, and it's a hometown company based in Rochester, New York, but we also are in surrounding counties. We provide companion care, care in people's homes in different settings where they live, such as in independent living facilities, assisted living facilities, and even in nursing homes too. And we provide geriatric care management as well.
Excellent. And can you tell us, what is companion care? Because I think people might have some different ideas of what that entails.
Sure. Companion care is non-medical home care. So a companion can come into your home and do things such as light housekeeping, meal planning and preparation, reminding you to take your medications. And in my company, we allow them to drive for you also. So they're sort of an assistant, but they are different from a home health aide in that they don't provide hands-on care. So they won't lift and help transfer, and they won't bathe for you, but they certainly can help to monitor you for your safety, for bathing, and for dressing also.
And as part of that service, you also actually will prepare a plan of care for someone, is that right?
Yes, yes. So to initiate the care, first you could give us a call and we'd be able to ask you a few questions to make sure this is the right level of care for you. And then myself or another nurse will come out and meet with you and provide an in-home assessment, which is free of charge. And based on that assessment, it helps us to see what areas of need you have. Whether it's that you can't make your bed anymore, you can't lift the laundry basket, we're able to formulate a care plan that then the companion caregiver can follow. And it's a dynamic care plan, so if things change where you may need a little more assistance, we can go ahead and adjust that and help you in different ways as well.
This may be a dangerous question. Is there such a thing as a typical client?
Well, I can tell you what we can do, what we can't do.
Okay.
So there are some clients that just may need too much care for any companion care agency, and it's important to know that not just our home care agency, but you really need to understand the difference between a companion care agency and a licensed home health care agency. The licensed home health care agency will do the hands-on care, and so perhaps can take care of those clients that really need heavier medical care. But the typical client for us is maybe someone who is just starting to not be able to do everything that they really need to do to be able to stay in their home. And it might be something where they just can't drive themselves to appointments, or they want to go shopping and they can't drive themselves, or they can't manage their groceries on their own. So oftentimes the family will be able to pick up certain areas that they have as deficits, and they call us and ask us to come out and help in different areas. And oftentimes, if we are brought in early enough, where maybe we're only there for a few hours once a week, we can help to prevent problems from developing. So if someone, your mom or dad, are going up and down the stairs to do the laundry with the big laundry basket, and instead you have a companion caregiver come to help with those things, you might prevent a fall from occurring, which would then could cause a hip fracture, hospitalization, maybe admission to a nursing home, something like that.
Sure, sure.
So, yeah.
Any, can you give an example? not naming names, of course, but just an example of a specific situation where you were able to come in and help somebody.
Sure, and there are so many
Oh, I'm
times.
sure.
I mean, we have people calling and writing letters to us all the time of how wonderful it was to have us there and how we've helped them so much, both the families of our clients and the clients themselves. But I guess one particular situation was, I'll call the woman Mary. She was actually living in an independent living facility, beautiful, beautiful place. And she had a mild stroke, but it left her with some one-sided, left-sided weakness and a facial droop. So she was having a hard time managing things in her apartment, but also felt very self-conscious and having difficulty speaking. So she had looked for a private caregiver through the paper, and she had someone private coming into her apartment. And that person took advantage of her, stole from her, and luckily we knew the director of the facility, and they called us and said, can you come in and just help her out? So our caregiver, first of all, we did the assessment, and I found a person who was a good personality match with this person, because that's one of the things we do with the assessment. And when we went in there, we found that she was not socializing. She wouldn't go out of her room. She wouldn't go on the outings and the field trip type of things that they were inviting her to. And her cat that was living in the apartment with her wasn't being cared for. So when our caregiver got there, she, within weeks, was able to help her to be confident enough to go out and meet with people that were in that senior community, start playing cards with them, having lunch with them. Our caregiver even went out on outings with her, helped to take care of her cat, and kept her apartment nice and neat. So she also had in the past volunteered at a zoo, and she wanted to start doing that again. So one day a week during the summer, we would bring her to the zoo also. So it was a great feeling to know that we were able to help her just get back to her regular, usual, independent way of life.
Sure.
And that's really our goal, is to help keep their independence, not start doing things for them and take those things away. We just want to be like an assistant and a helper so we can support them.
Oh, that's a great story.
Yeah.
What do you think is unique in what you bring to this area, or something maybe you feel your agency does better than others?
Well, the fact that I'm a registered nurse and started this right from ground up is really important, because it gave us credibility in our community. The reason I started the business was because I dealt with my own mother being ill and having a bad experience with a home health care agency. So I started the company knowing the different ways that we really needed to change the delivery of home care. So in that, we have our caregivers. We have a very low turnover rate because the caregivers love working with us. Another unique part of our companion care agency is that we incorporate geriatric care management, which that's part of our company. We don't subcontract it out. It's all incorporated. We only work with medical professionals. We have other nurses that work for us. So if you go with a franchise, it's the type of thing where it may be owned by someone who's caring, but it may not be a medical professional who has the background to be able to look for other problems. And we also use a computer-based clock-in system. So when our caregivers arrive at the client's home, they pick up the phone, they're able to dial our 1-800 number. It punches them into our system, and we know where they're punching in, where they're supposed to be punching in, and then they punch out in the same way. So we know that they're not just calling in on their phone saying, I'm here, and they're 10 minutes away, or they leave early. So that really helps us also, and that has helped us to be able to get reimbursement from long-term care insurance companies as well.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Debbie, anything else you'd like to tell our audience about Happier at Home?
Well, I think that if there are any questions at all of our staff are just wonderful. So if you'd like to contact us and you just need a little bit of guidance, I always tell people to feel free to either call or even email me, and I'd be happy to help you out.
Wonderful. And of course, the Happier at Home contact information is right on the page from which you're viewing this, so easy to contact Debbie and her company. So Debbie, once again, thank you so much for coming in and talking to us about Happier at Home.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks, Mike.